Have you ever stretched the truth on your resume to get a certain job?
Lies, lies, and more lies.
You can always figure it out later, right?
I believe you, but I don't believe you.
Well, this is actually also common in Hollywood.
Have you ever had to lie to get a part?
Actors have told little white lies here and there, hoping to nab the role and figure things out later.
I used to tell people I went to Oxford.
But sometimes these lies come back to bite.
I lied to Martin Scorsese for Hugo.
Chris Hemsworth. If it wasn't obvious from the way he towers over the rest of the Avengers, Chris Hemsworth is a rather tall dude. At 6 feet 3 inches, the actor's height made him the perfect fit to play Thor, a role that called for someone with his lofty frame.
You're all not worthy.
But this was the first time his real height worked out for him. He shocked fans when he admitted to repeatedly lying about his height, of all things, to get more work. Chris said, "There are certainly things I've wanted to go up for which I've been totally wrong for physically, and I normally lie about my height and say I'm shorter, but it can go two ways. The brief for the audition for Thor said must be over 6 foot 1 inch, which I'd never seen before."
Nothing.
Anne Hathaway. Being able to ride a horse is a useful skill for an actor to possess. Even though horse riding scenes can be faked by using doubles and stunt teams, it's always more convincing if the actual actor can be seen at the reins. Anne Hathaway revealed that she may have stretched the truth in her audition for Brokeback Mountain. When director Ang Lee asked her if she could ride, she said yes, which was a big ol' lie.
You're a liar.
So she had to learn and eventually got to the stage where she was pretty good. Unfortunately, when she showed up to set, she was given a verbal command horse and she couldn't make it move. Anne said, "I went to a rehearsal in front of 300 extras, all of whom work in rodeos, and the horse wouldn't do a damn thing I wanted it to. And at the end, it threw me in front of everyone. Yikes."
Was it embarrassing?
Liam Hemsworth. In the movie The Last Song, Liam was cast as Will Blakely, a character with some mad beach volleyball skills. The actor assured the filmmakers that he was also very good at the sport, but as you probably guessed, that wasn't true in the slightest. Liam recalled an embarrassing moment saying, "We had days where it was just us and we were playing pretty good against extras who hadn't played before. We looked okay then, but we had a day where we had 300 extras there watching us play against professional volleyball players and they made us look stupid." Liam probably doesn't need to fudge the truth on his resume anymore. Rebel Wilson.
I cash in my credit card points for e-gift vouchers.
Oh, you do?
Rebel Wilson is one of many actresses who have lied about their age to get roles, including her role in the movie Pitch Perfect. It turns out that for years, everyone thought that she was 7 years younger than her actual age, but Rebel claims she was just being coy, saying, "For the press to do a story that I was deliberately, lying or whatever, no, I was just being a lady and not telling my age when I moved to America, and that's not really a crime." It worked, and Rebel was in the entire Pitch Perfect franchise.
I'm pretty sure I'm the hot one.
Eddie Redmayne. Eddie Redmayne is another actor who lied about his horse riding ability for the 2005 feature-length miniseries Elizabeth I. Eddie claimed, "It was my last audition and director Tom Hooper said, 'Eddie, last thing, you ever been on a horse?' I said yes, and then about 2 weeks later I was on top of this gigantic stallion." Eddie ended up in a scene surrounded by 40 stuntmen on horses without a clue what to do, and later said, "I was sent to horse camp immediately." Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis is another actress who maybe lied about her birthday. She got cast as Jackie in the sitcom That 70s Show when she was only 14 years old. However, show producers were under the assumption that she was 18 because, well, that's what she told them. Mila said, "I told them I was a little bit older. I told them I was gonna be 18, which is not technically a lie because at one point I was gonna be 18. Very sneaky, Mila." With the fib, she became one of the most famous actors who lied to get movie and TV roles. It's okay, Mila, we love you anyway.
Oh my God. I am. Okay, I'm good.
Morgan Freeman. He may be known for having the perfect narrator voice,
You must be Bruce.
but honestly, sometimes Morgan Freeman gets kinda sick of it. He's more than just a voice, he's an actor. And for the movie Oblivion, he clearly wanted a break from doing the same thing, so Morgan decided to fib a little bit and told director Joseph Kosinski that he was having throat issues. It worked out perfectly for him as he then went on to secure an even bigger role in the film, even if the role had fewer lines due to his illness. Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock actually lied to make herself older, which is virtually unheard of in Hollywood. But she told producers that she was 29 when she was only 27 years old when she was gunning for her role in Love Potion No. 9. Sandy said, "After a while, you really have no idea how old you are because you've lied so many times. I always said I would never lie, but one time when I didn't, it worked against me. So I figure you just keep them guessing." Luckily, her ploy worked and she got the part. Rachel McAdams. Rachel McAdams also had a horse problem. What's the deal with all these horse liars? She really wanted to work with acclaimed director Terrence Malick. When considered for the part of Jane in To the Wonder in 2012, she was asked whether she liked horses or had an issue working with them. Rachel lied, saying she loved horses. In truth, she's allergic to and terrified of horses. Rachel ended up controlling her allergies with antihistamines and overcame her fear of horses. She said, "It's like when people ask if you can ride for a medieval film. You think you can just get away with it, and I did somehow." Robert Pattinson. After playing Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Robert Pattinson's movie work quickly began to dry up. Traveling to Los Angeles to try and make it big, the actor was faced with questions from all the casting directors he met with who wanted to know what he'd been up to for the past couple of years. But instead of being honest with them, he told them that he'd been studying at several prestigious British schools, such as the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. Robert said, "Casting directors would ask what I'd been doing for the past few years. I'd say, oh, I was at RADA. If you've got an English accent, you can get away with it. But it didn't work when loads of English people started moving to Los Angeles. So then I pretended to be American for a bit." All things considered, even though it worked for a while, Robert's fib didn't last long. Chloe Grace Moretz. Throughout the audition process for the film Hugo, Chloe Grace Moretz spoke with an incredibly convincing British accent, something she picked up while living in London shooting the film Kick-Ass 2. She was so good at it that the legendary director Martin Scorsese believed it was real. However, at the end of one audition, Chloe slipped into her natural American accent while thanking the director, which he noticed, saying, "You tricked me." But he was so pleased with her fake accent that he cast her anyway. Angelina Jolie. In her case, it was her parents who started the false story, so you can't totally blame Angelina Jolie for this one. They perpetuated the story that she and her younger brother James Haven were part Iroquois through their mother's side of the family when she was younger. They assumed this would make their children seem more exotic. The good news is that it really wasn't Angelina's fault that she was confused about her heritage, and her career certainly has not suffered for her mother's fib. Daniel Craig. Perhaps best known for his role as James Bond, Daniel Craig would frequently lie about his ability to ride horses. Yep, more horse riding lies. But James Bond always drives in fancy cars, so maybe he didn't think it would matter. He had never been on a horse before, but this fib would help land him a role in Cowboys and Aliens in 2011. However, the lie finally came to light as he was forced to learn something casting directors were under the impression he already knew how to do. Whoops. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi is also an actress who wasn't afraid to seem older than she really was. Early on in her career, she had to fake being older in order to nab worthy roles because she was seen as too young for showbiz. On her resume, she switched her birth year from 1955 to 1949, later explaining, "I lied about my age for a long time because nobody would hire me to act. Everyone said I was too young. So when I was 20, I put 6 years on my life. Age is just a number, right, Whoopi?" George Clooney. Believe it or not, Hollywood legend George Clooney was once known as a curse to all TV pilots. He was in over a dozen pilots that never made it to television, so naturally he began to bend the truth. Desperate to get his Screen Actors Guild card, George lied to a casting director and said he'd been in the movie Cat People, which he totally wasn't. Unfortunately, the same casting director who had cast that exact film was the one he told the lie to, and she didn't recall him being cast. She ended up still helping him get his SAG card by putting him in a different movie that was never made. Nicolas Cage. Due to the graphic nature of the notoriously raunchy and hilarious Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982, all the actors who auditioned for the film had to be at least 18. Nicolas Cage wanted the part of Brad Hamilton, so the 17-year-old actor lied, saying he was 18. Producers figured out he was fibbing and he didn't get the part of Brad. But despite being a minor, he did score a big part in the movie, playing one of Brad's friends. But be careful what you wish for. Nicolas Cage has said his first screen role on the set of Fast Times was a terrible experience. Just goes to show that you probably shouldn't lie on your resume, guys. Do you think these actors pushed the limits of the truth, or are little white lies harmless in order to get the job? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for stopping by the taco, and we'll see you soon.